She won't always say it directly, but when a woman feels drawn to an older man, she starts asking questions that look simple, yet they reveal everything about who you are. Most men miss this moment completely. They think attraction is about looks, confidence, or saying the perfect line. But attraction, real, emotional attraction, often begins with curiosity. A woman who is interested in a man who carries maturity, emotional steadiness, and life experience doesn't look for flashy signals. She studies something deeper. She studies how a man thinks. Women who feel drawn toward older energy, whether the man is actually older or simply mature in his mindset, are not searching for excitement alone. They are searching for emotional gravity, a presence that feels calm when things get uncertain, a mind that doesn't react impulsively. And because she cannot see a man's character immediately, she begins to test it quietly, not with manipulation, not with games, but with questions. Simple questions. Questions that most men answer without thinking, and in doing so, they unknowingly reveal whether they carry stability or insecurity. This is why many younger men feel confused when a woman seems interested at first, but then slowly pulls away. It wasn't random. It wasn't sudden. It happened the moment she heard something in your answer that told her you were still searching for yourself. An older-minded man doesn't rush to impress. He doesn't scramble for approval. He answers calmly, honestly, and without the need to prove anything. That energy is rare, and rarity is attractive. Because when a woman feels emotionally safe around a man who understands himself, something powerful happens. Her curiosity grows, her respect deepens, and respect, far more than attraction alone, is what keeps interest alive. So she begins to observe. She listens closely to the words you choose, not because she wants perfection, but because she wants clarity. She wants to know if you are a man who moves through life with direction, or a man who drifts depending on the opinions around him. And this is where the first question appears. A question so simple that most men never realize it is actually a window into their mindset. When she asks it, she is not judging your achievements. She is measuring your self-awareness. Because a woman who feels drawn toward a mature masculine presence is not chasing excitement alone. She is looking for depth. And depth always reveals itself in how a man answers the simplest questions. The moment you understand this, you stop trying to impress, and you start showing something far more powerful: authenticity. Because the truth is, the men who naturally attract admiration from women are not the loudest men in the room. They are the calmest ones. The ones who understand themselves long before anyone else tries to define them. And when a woman senses that quiet certainty, her curiosity becomes something much stronger: respect. The first question she often asks sounds harmless. What do you want from life? It may come casually during a conversation, maybe while discussing work, future plans, or even something small about your daily routine. But beneath the surface, this question carries weight. She is not asking for a perfect answer. She is not expecting a grand speech about success, wealth, or achievements. What she is really listening for is direction. Because maturity is not measured by age alone. It is measured by clarity, by the ability to understand where you are going, even if the road ahead is still unfolding. Many men panic when they hear this question. They feel pressure to sound impressive, so they begin listing goals they think will earn admiration: money, status, big plans. But what actually impresses a woman who values maturity is something much quieter: honesty. An older-minded man doesn't rush his answer. He doesn't inflate his ambitions just to look important. Instead, he speaks with calm certainty about the kind of life he is building, not to prove anything, but because he genuinely understands himself. That difference is powerful. When a woman hears a man speak clearly about his values, his priorities, and the direction he is moving toward, it sends a message that goes deeper than attraction. It signals emotional stability. And emotional stability is incredibly attractive because it creates a sense of trust. Trust that this man knows who he is. Trust that he will not change his personality just to impress others. Trust that he has a foundation within himself. This is why the answer matters more than the words themselves. If a man responds with confusion, constantly shifting ideas, or answers designed purely to impress, she notices, not consciously at first, but emotionally, and attraction begins to weaken. But when a man answers calmly, even if his life is still evolving, something different happens. She senses grounded energy, the energy of someone who is not lost, someone who is building something meaningful, step by step. And that is what many women quietly admire in men who carry maturity. Not perfection, direction. Because direction shows discipline, and discipline shows character. A woman who feels drawn to older masculine energy is not searching for a man who already has everything figured out. She is searching for a man who is committed to growth, someone who is not drifting through life, waiting for circumstances to define him, someone who chooses his path intentionally. When she hears that kind of mindset in your answer, something shifts inside her perception. You stop looking like just another man in the crowd. You start looking like someone she can respect. And respect is where real attraction begins to deepen. The second question she asks is even more revealing. It usually appears unexpectedly. What did your last relationship teach you? At first, this question feels personal. Some men even feel defensive when they hear it. They assume she is trying to judge their past or analyze their mistakes. But that is not what she is actually looking for. She is observing emotional maturity. Every adult has a past. Everyone has experienced disappointment, misunderstanding, or moments where things simply did not work out. What matters is not the relationship itself. What matters is how you grew from it. This is where many men unknowingly lose respect. When they answer this question with bitterness, blame, or resentment, it reveals something deeper than the story itself. It shows that the past still controls their mindset. And when a woman senses unresolved anger or constant blame directed toward previous partners, she begins to feel uncertain, not because she expects perfection, but because emotional responsibility is one of the clearest signs of maturity. A man who carries self-awareness does not attack his past. He reflects on it. He understands that relationships involve two people, two perspectives, and countless moments that shape the outcome. So instead of blaming, he speaks about what he learned. Maybe he learned the importance of communication. Maybe he realized he needed to set better boundaries. Maybe he discovered what kind of partnership truly aligns with his values. When a woman hears that type of reflection, something powerful happens inside her perception. She sees growth. She sees a man who does not run from self-awareness, and self-awareness is incredibly attractive because it signals emotional intelligence. It tells her that this man can handle conflict without becoming defensive, that he can learn instead of repeating the same patterns again and again. This is the kind of energy many women associate with maturity. Not someone who claims to be perfect, but someone who learns, someone who evolves, because growth is one of the most magnetic qualities a person can have. When a man answers this question calmly, without bitterness, and with genuine reflection, it communicates something important. He is not stuck in the past. He has moved forward with wisdom. And that wisdom is what creates the quiet confidence many women find deeply compelling. Not loud confidence, not arrogance, but the calm confidence of someone who has faced life, learned from it, and continued growing stronger. When you understand these two questions, something interesting happens. You stop seeing them as tests, and you start seeing them as opportunities to reveal who you truly are. Because the truth is, women who feel drawn toward mature masculine energy are not searching for flawless men. They are searching for grounded men. Men who understand their direction, men who take responsibility for their growth, men who carry a calm presence instead of constant emotional chaos. These qualities create a sense of safety, not the kind of safety that feels boring, but the kind that feels stable. And stability is rare. In a world where many people chase quick excitement, emotional maturity stands out more than ever. This is why older masculine energy often attracts curiosity. It represents something steady in a fast-moving world. A man who knows his path, a man who has learned from his experiences, a man who does not need to compete for attention because his presence already speaks for him. When you develop that mindset, something shifts in how people respond to you. You stop chasing validation, and you start living with intention. Women notice this, not because you say the perfect words, but because your energy becomes consistent. Your decisions reflect your values, your actions reflect your discipline, and your conversations reflect your clarity. This is what makes maturity powerful. It is not about age, it is about self-awareness. So when those simple questions appear in conversation, do not treat them like traps. Treat them like windows. Windows that allow someone to see the kind of person you are becoming. Because the most attractive quality any person can develop is growth. The willingness to learn, improve, and move forward with purpose. And when someone senses that within you, respect naturally follows. Now, I want to hear your perspective. Have you ever been asked a question in a conversation that made you realize someone was quietly trying to understand your mindset? Share your experience in the comments below. And if this message gave you a new way to understand relationships and human psychology, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who might need to hear this today.